Cheryl Lazarus is an author, a healer, a certified relationship and divorce coach with therapeutic expertise. She specializes in helping women become more emotionally available for love and to create more connection and intimacy in all of your relationships. Cheryl has presented at the United Nations, professional women's organizations, and she's a sought-after speaker and an expert on panels and relationship telesummits. She coaches individually, in person, and globally. Cheryl Lazarus. And she's given a handout which you all should have on your chair.
But you won't look at it yet.
You won't look at it yet.
But it should be there. So, I'd like to see, raise your hand if you are happy in some of your relationships, whether they're romantic, personal, friends, family. Great. And raise your hands if you have some area of relationship or a particular relationship that you could use an improvement on. Any of those? Wonderful. So, one of the areas that I specialize in is becoming emotionally available for love. And within becoming emotionally available for love, an important aspect of that is to explore your love patterns, otherwise known as your relationship patterns. And so I'm going to talk about relationship patterns tonight, and we'll be doing some work on the sheet too. So a relationship pattern is the dynamic that you create with another person, whether it's a romantic partner, a parent, a child, a friend, even professional relationships. And our relationship patterns are very deep-rooted. They begin in childhood, and they're formed on our beliefs and our experiences in life. The good news is that they can be changed. So I'm going to talk about two common relationship patterns that I see a lot with clients and give examples of how they were changed. So one of them is the pattern of a rescuer. And I worked with a client who was a gal who came to me. She's going through a breakup. And as part of what we discovered, her pattern was in finding men that she could save. I'm sure we might all relate to this at some point. So it would be, she would be with different partners who would need her. That was her way of feeling needed and loved. And she would help them with their problems, and she would help fix them, and she would try to do everything she could to put their lives together. The problem with this is that as a result, she became very exhausted and overwhelmed, and then she'd break up with them. And in between that, she had another pattern, which was using casual sex to find love. So, and neither of these patterns actually brought her happiness. So when we were working together, one of the areas that we worked in was I was helping her to find value in herself and her own self-worth. So through different processes of going back into some childhood things and connecting with herself in new ways and new behaviors, to really value herself as a person, not as somebody who has to fix someone else or that has to go and have casual sex in order to feel loved, but to be loved for who she is. And we also looked at her different relationships. For example, her friendships, I asked her to avoid casual sex, and that we would start looking at her dating patterns, and that she could develop friendships with men, so that as her friendships with men were taking root, she could see that they actually appreciated her for how fun she was, the things that they shared in common, music, jazz, different things that they did together, but to really feel valued for her and who she is. And as a result of that, and saying no to casual sex, even though she had many opportunities to say yes, she was really committed to changing her patterns. She, over time, when she was ready to date again, attracted a fantastic, loving partner who appreciates her. They don't have to fix each other, they support each other, there's a mutuality there. And she feels really, really happy. They moved in together, they're still together. We do a little maintenance to make sure that everything's still on track. But it was really fabulous because she was willing and committed to changing the pattern. And by changing the pattern, it really worked. Another example is a pattern of criticizing and controlling. Does anyone here ever have that pattern go on in their life?
I think years ago, that was my entire pattern.
That was your
That
entire
was
pattern.
my second marriage, absolutely. Consciousness wasn't there yet, and I took on the role I saw my mom.
Mhm.
And so it was just like totally critical.
And that's a perfect segue, because the example I'm going to give happens to be with a mom and a daughter. So a woman came to me who had a deteriorating relationship with her daughter. And what was happening is that in their relationship, like the mother is in her 50s, she's a very lovely woman, she's very accomplished. She has advanced degrees, she's in the medical profession for over 20 years, she's very steady, she's very precise. And her daughter is completely the opposite. Her daughter is very loose and free and doesn't know what she wants. She's 22, she's dropped in and out of college several times, she now has 2 more years to go. Her mother said she doesn't have any goals, I'm really worried about her future. And their relationship is deteriorating. She's criticizing her daughter all the time. She's trying to mold her daughter into what she wants the daughter to be, and the professional profession she wants the daughter to go in. And her daughter's more interested in environmental issues and different issues like that. So in their relationship, as we were talking, I said to her, okay, one of the areas that is causing difficulty is she's so different than you. And she really kind of like a light bulb went off in her head with that. And I said, tell me about her gifts, because the mother's always looking at her weaknesses. I said, how is she socially? And she said, she's fantastic. She's always, she's very outgoing. It's really easy for her to meet people. She's very, builds rapport very easily. And I said, wonderful. And the mother's energy was shifting as she was talking about her gifts. And then I said, tell me some more. She said she's very empathetic, she's very intuitive, and a light bulb was going off. And I said, okay. I said, so this is the attitude and this is the framework that you need to look at your daughter in. So the plan of action that we came up with was she's going to have a talk with her daughter. She's going to apologize for being so controlling and critical with her daughter, and also to really tell her daughter what she appreciates about her. Because in telling her daughter what she appreciates about her and really going over her daughter's strengths, they were then, the next plan was to then brainstorm with her daughter over career and job opportunities that could go along with those strengths, instead of fitting her into the mold of the profession that she wanted her to fit into. So the mother was very excited about this, because by taking responsibility for her own behavior, and she was like, this is fantastic, and now, she did the whole plan and their whole relationships to change. So now what I'd like us to do here, because I know I'm on a very time limit here, take out the piece of paper and a pen, and I'd like you to look at the questions here, and the questions are about your own relationships. And think about a relationship that you have where you have a particular pattern. You can think about, if you want to choose romantic, you can think about a recent or past relationship that you've been in. You can think about a relationship with a parent, with a child, with a friend. And go through the questions. We're going to have about 2 minutes for this. We're going to go through the questions. And I also want to mention that as an opportunity for people who are attending our Golden Rolodex, I'm offering each of you a 30-minute complimentary session to talk about a topic that's a relationship topic or a pattern that you'd like to talk about. And if you're interested in that, then you would tear this off and hand me the bottom at the end of the night. So just look at this, go through, check the pattern that has negatively affected a primary relationship, past or present. And I listed 5, but there are many more. You can fill in other. And then put what has been the result of this pattern. How has it impacted a relationship? Does anyone need something to write? And then, are you willing to change this pattern? be the next step that you can take? And when you're finished, raise your hand. We're gonna do one more quick part. So you can also take these home and work on them, but what I like to do is have you partner up with someone, and what you're gonna just share with them, we'll do first, person with the longest hair goes first, and you're gonna share with them, what's the next step that you can take to change a pattern that you have going on? So, maybe, however you wanna do 2 and 2? Do it together, do it together. Do you want to, Susan, come over here and, with Robin? Yeah.
Good, how are you?
Do you want to share it together here?
Sure.
And you can listen in so you get an idea.
Actually, you know what, I'm gonna listen in because mine was. I don't know. I know. Sorry, I'm listening like that. Well, I'm too long to listen. I think we just want to read the same thing, but I don't know how to do that. Oh, okay, so they're observers.
And this was my mother's.